and welcome to the latest installment of KRAD COVID Readings. This next story is one that, like the very first story that I did for KRAD COVID Readings, the one I did with my wife, Ren Sims, is an all-dialogue story. However, I'm going to do it all myself this time. This is a story that I originally wrote for a Van Helsing anthology that was done in 2004. I submitted it to the editor, Gene Cavellis, who loved the story but couldn't accept it because it was funny. And none of the other stories in the anthology were funny, and it would have stood out like a sore thumb. When the anthology actually came out in 2004, which, by the way, was done to tie in with the Hugh Jackman film, which, who knew? But the book was actually really good, and I recommend tracking it down. There's some excellent stories in there. But yeah, this story would have stood out like a sore thumb. Instead, I submitted it to the then current incarnation of Amazing Stories. At the time, it was being published by Paizo Publishing. It appeared in an early 2005 issue of the magazine, which was also the last one Paizo did. Yes, I helped kill Amazing Stories, but they brought it back, so it's okay. At least I think they did. I lose track. It goes away, it comes back. Anyway, it was in there. It was also reprinted in an online magazine called The Town Drunk in their first issue. So it was in the last Amazing Stories and the first Town Drunk. And it was also done as an audio drama from Gypsy Audio. You can probably find that online, or you could just watch this. Whichever. Anyway, this is... Oh, and it was also reprinted in Without a License. Another place it was reprinted, so it's been reprinted twice and done as an audio drama. Which is available from the fine folks at eSpec Books. You can get the ebook for only 99 cents because eSpec is having a coronavirus sale. And this story, as well as a bunch of others, are in it. Anyhow, a vampire and a vampire hunter walk into a bar. About time you arrived. I already got your drink. Red wine, again. Do you never tire of that joke? Apparently I do not. Is it at least a Chianti? I'd hate to have to choke down one of those American atrocities. Of course. Do you take me for a Philistine? I take you for a Dutch lout with the taste of a pig. And you're an Eastern European dandy, but you don't hear me complaining. I've heard you do little else for the past several decades, my friend. And you have nobody to blame but yourself, you know. Myself? If you've been kind enough to stay dead just once, then maybe I wouldn't have sought out that gypsy woman for that immortality spell. I could have warned you about the Romany, you know, as if I was going to consult you about finding a way to hunt you down more efficiently, and as if I would have listened to your advice in any case. It would have saved you considerable amounts of grief, and we would not be where we are today. No, I would be in the ground, and you would be out draining some young lass of her life's blood. It is what I do. I should have sued that woman. Sued the Romany? You are aware, are you not, that they are not overburdened with material assets? Yes, but think how much fun it would be to subpoena them. I will take your word for it. I'm being sued, you know. You are joking. No. Some American woman I foolishly agreed to train. One of your kind killed her family. Oh, not another revenge-obsessed last survivor. Yes, another. Really, if you people insist on wiping out an entire family, the least you could do is be efficient about it and kill all of them. This business of leaving behind youngsters with visions of revenge dancing in their heads does get out of hand. All they do is cause trouble. This particular girl is taking legal action against you? Yes. Apparently I violated the terms of our agreement, whatever that means. She came to me, begging for help, and because I did not transform her into a reasonable facsimile of that blonde girl from television, she felt I did not perform my task adequately. The popular culture hasn't done either of us a favor, has it? It's been over 70 years, and I'm still living down that cape-wearing Hungarian drug addict. Well, you did wear a cape. Of course I wore a cape then! Everyone wore a cape then! I would hardly wear such an absurd anachronism now. Yet everyone expresses shock because I'm not dressed the same clothing I happened to be wearing in a previous century. I have always dressed at the height of current fashion. True, I understand suits of armor and bloody swords were all the rage in the 15th century. They were in the circles I ran in. Ran through, more like. Still, that Armani you've got on now looks good on you. I suppose it cost you someone else's arm and leg? Huh. At least I give some care to my appearance. Have you shaved at all since 1850? What possible reason do I have to look good? An excellent point. Why start now? My line of work hardly requires it. Certainly not to the extent yours does. It's hard to convince beautiful young women to invite them into your boudoir if you look like an unshaven, slightly mad Dutchman with wild hair, battered clothing, and the lingering scent of week-old grime. Touché. It should be pointed out, however, that I have not been able to enact such a scenario for some time. Gaining ingress to a lady's bedroom has gotten much more challenging with the advent of electronic security. It is difficult to mesmerize an alarm system. I hope you're not asking for sympathy. Oh, quite the opposite. I view it as a challenge. I certainly get more joy out of that than the actual conquests. I find myself simply killing them more often than I do turning them. Hardly seems worth the time, given how tiresome they become. Oh? We are creatures of the night. We are hunters, predators, killers. Yes, vampires nowadays wish to loaf about and put their hands to their heads and bemoan how awful on life is. It's revolting. They're so full of shit. I was going to say angst, but yes, excrement fits the bill quite nicely. They have been given the gift of immortality, of power over others. And all they do is wonder about the meaning of existence and other such philosophical rot. Blame the literature. Or better yet, blame the Americans. Not that I disagree with the sentiment, but why them in particular? Besides the fact that they produce the most egregious examples of the literature that propagates the very notions you're complaining about, the fact is that Americans think about things too much. I have been around since long before there was a United States, and I have never heard such a complaint. Of course not, because people don't pay attention. It's how your kind has survived so long, despite the efforts of men like me. But Americans, with their insistence on educating all their children rather than a chosen few, and the notions of universal literacy, have produced a race that does nothing but think. Most of them think only about the most foolish things, but they do think. That is a fascinating theory. Thank you. It's also utter rubbish. Nobody ever thinks. If they thought, they would go mad. Who says they have not? An excellent point. Also my last, the sun will be up soon. So, this place is open 24 hours. It's not as if you're going to burst into flames. I still prefer to avoid the sun's gaze where possible. That, at least, is something for which I may thank the cinema. That German fool did our kind a great favor by perpetuating that burn in the sun nonsense. Especially when dealing with your ilk. I do so love the looks on the would-be vampire hunters' faces when they expose us to the light and we don't catch fire. It's very amusing. You needn't leave yet. You haven't even touched your wine. Nor will I. You have, as is your wont, put something in it that is inimical to my continued survival, as you always do. And you do not fall for it, as you never do. I do appreciate the irony, since I do not drink wine. Indeed. Until tomorrow night, of course. Goodbye, my old enemy. Goodbye, my old friend. That is A Vampire and a Vampire Hunter Walk into a Bar by Keith R.A. DeCandido. That's me. Available in a very hard to find issue of Amazing Stories that has Jennifer Garner as Elektra on the cover, which gives you an idea how old it is. The first issue of The Town Drunk, which I think is available online. You can check around for it. If you check out Gypsy Audio, there should be an audio version of this with two readers, one of whom is me reading it. And it's also available in Without a License, The Fantastic Worlds of Keith R.A. DeCandido, available from eSpec Books. Thank you very much. Please check me out online at decandido.net. There are links there to all the different places to cyberstalk me. Blog, Facebook page, Twitter feed, Instagram account, Tor.com, Patreon. I do have a Patreon, and I would love it if you would support it. Please subscribe to the KRAD COVID Readings channel. There will be more readings to come, and more readings previously, and all that good stuff. Thank you. And please, stay safe.